Or that will be joining us as we go, but I think I'll just begin. And there's certainly enough of us here to begin. And as people come, and some people will go. So I first want to, of course, welcome all my friends and poets to this fourth Planet Poetry 28, the 28th day of the month. I'm trying different times to try to help different time zones in, as whatever day that is, to kind of mix it up a bit. And taking that, then to thank you all to taking the time to share with me your great poetry and performances, as you'll see, because I know most of you guys pretty poetry heard more than once, and very excited for everybody else to be sharing it. As you know, we all use the share, and I was talking about the uh, the different type of engagement we get from seeing a poem as well as having it performed for us. I think that kind of sticks. And this becomes like a virtual anthology magazine, I would think, that's going to be on YouTube. You can just kind of catch the old issues. And we hope that one day, some years from now, uh, you'll be up for some award, and you say, "Yeah, I performed at Planet Poetry back there in 2021," and you can always find yourself there. And uh, and soon I'm going to think I'd like to do this live also on YouTube, uh, if that's possible. I think that's going to be possible as well. So let me just introduce myself. I'm Mark Fishbein, poet with guitar. I play guitar and often, it's hard to see with the screen there, and often play performances, but not tonight. I'm just going to read. And I'm the host of two weekly writing workshops, and I'm a proud part of the Poetry Global Network, which you'll be hearing, I'm sure, a lot tonight. There are a lot of our members here, which is a global poetry news and event thing happening and with many different segments. And it's news and events for poets around the world. And I think it's going to go viral and become a very important part of the poetry scene. I have five books on Amazon and a few more coming this year, and I'll put links to that in the chatter and in the chat and all that. And we'll start. And I just wanted to say, I'll start to break the ice, and I'll just introduce you as I have an introduction for you. We'll chat for a second and then just hit the share. Some of you have the poems, I'll do it for you. And and then afterwards, we can please unmute mute yourself if you are going to be muting yourself during the read, so we can hear some noise and maybe some comments about the poem as well. So I'm going to begin today's poetry reading with a since it's Memorial Day, I thought I would include two poems about war and about Memorial Day. This is the Korean War Memorial. It's an acrostic poem in Washington, and there are 19 figures like this one, spread out amongst this field. There's about 7, 8 feet tall, and they're commemorating the Korean War, a somewhat forgotten war, and so the name of the poem, Forgotten War. These giant soldiers, I pass them and shake with fear, caped in ponchos like Praetorian guards, spread out among rice paddies in a disobedient province. Who remembers why they must kill or be killed, as fate allows? Who remembers this war who wasn't there, or lost a son, a brother, a father? They have seen things that makes the child inside them scream. I look into the blank eyes of these stone men and feel shame that they will have limbs blown away or faces, and nothing will have changed since they left here. These were boys when they were called to the war machine, comrades in arms. Around them, cities were bombed to ashes and population sent to the firing squad. You can feel that every moment is an eternity, mouths dry with anxiety, the smell that fear puts in sweat. The cost of freedom is buried in these campaigns of slaughter. Soon others will follow in faraway jungles or deserts, protecting the empire's changing influences. One should leave a memorial uplifted, with paid respects, and so cherish the dead by saluting their cause. Some might pray for them, as if the Lord takes sides. Whether for pride or for greed is the choice of history, I love the patria for its promise, not by its forgotten wars. My second poem is based on a statement by John Adams, who said, I must study politics and war that my sons will have the liberty to study philosophy.
Mm.
I butchered the enemy soldiers with cardboard swords and plastic guns, waving flags of cotton candy, but I never trained or saw the battlefield. In truth, what do I really know of war? What lament can I add to the centuries of odes to warriors' graves without a rude arrogance? Blood spills on the ground from the molten core of men's hate. Rage like lava fills their veins. Yet I sit in this comfortable garden and contemplate and contemplate. The last world war is mere statistics. The hated foes are now our friends. The veterans commemorate the cemeteries and salute theirs and their enemies' bravery. Blessed are philosophers, a pilgrimage to find some morality of the mind. Am I not the victor that won the spoils? I salute to scrolls and spoken words, and as commanded by the ancients, to question all that's written on the wall. And I'll end with this poem, which was prompted by a statement by Wole Soyinka, the Nigerian Nobel Prize winning poet, in which in an interview he said, there's either one humanity or there isn't, the other. Your country was built from slavery and genocide. Don't fret, they all were, and so is mine. We're all primal, pissing on a tree to claim our territory for a tribe. Stranger, you're a racist underneath. Don't bother denying. It's in your genes. Your parents taught you as their parents. Trust only those who speak your speak. You value your survival above mine. I don't take offense. Starvation makes us cannibals. Just by chance, some are born to beg in poverty, while others die by the cruelties of greed. I hate that we may judge each another's race. There's either one humanity or there isn't. And we are just the same, stranger, waiting for the transformation from beast to human. Thank you.
Mark, I think those were three of the best poems I've ever heard of yours.
Wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you, Anna. Anna's reading next, and Anna is a member of one of the poetry workshops that I host, and so she always hears my poems, which are half written. So, thank you very much, Anna. Indeed. So let me please introduce Anna as well. Anna was born in Belgium, grew up in Italy, and lives in Cambridge, where she was adopted by two cats. Hmm. And her novel Eden Undone can be found on Amazon or ordered through bookstores. And she's been published in the journal Lighten Up, Nightingale, Sparrow, and Skirting Around, and is part of this collection that I have of from our DC poetry. It's called Ink Blots, which I see you can't see because of my screen, and I'm always proud. So let me get you on to let me get your poem on, Anna. Take a second.
And thank you for that introduction. Makes me feel very self-conscious. But yes, I really was adopted by two cats. It really was that way around.
Thank you, Anna.
So
Can you see it?
hi,
Okay.
everybody. Yep. So hi, everybody. Mark is kindly going to do the scrolling for these poems for me. This first poem is called Cancel Culture. It was not witches who burned. It was women. Women too beautiful, outspoken. Women too loud or quiet who loved nature and dared to dance, singing in sunlight. or for no other reason than moonlight on water, a
Oh,
purr in
wait,
their arms,
I
Please,
strangers.
please mute if all except for Anna. Thank you. Sorry, Anna.
Girl's
No
doing all
worries.
right.
Yeah, Peter, please. Let me mute you if you have not muted. Okay. Thank you, Anna. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Why don't you
I
start
like,
over, huh? Why
yeah,
don't you start
I
over?
was,
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
starting over.
Yeah,
Um,
fine.
cancel culture. It was not witches who burned. It was women. Women too beautiful, outspoken, women too loud or quiet, who loved nature and dared to dance, singing in sunlight, or for no other reason than moonlight on water, a purr in their arms, a stranger's smile. It was not witches who burned. It was women who could read books or herbs or anything that others couldn't, wouldn't, the quality of different in the grey of average. It was not witches who burned. It was women with birthmarks or hair aflame with passion's copper, burnished too late for Titian's. Sorry, the comments are obscuring it, the poem for me. Burnished too late for Titian's paints. Women with water in their wells, kind to animals or people or anything else, really. It was not women who burned. Scapegoating made sure of that. Pyres cremate distinction.
Hmm.
So that was written as a hearing about some of the crimes which the witches were apparently guilty of. Yeah, that's how the poem was born. This next one, trigger warning. It's about, well, yeah, just trigger warning for anybody who gets upset about suffering. Blind trust. Each time the door awakes, yawning with hope, so do we, uncurling, dare to unmope, tracking the pattern of each gate, enter, pause, and pass us by. I wait and wait for those whose footfall I'd know anywhere, those I thought I'd never lose. I still don't understand why they tied me up and left me far behind. I know they didn't mean it, won't stop until they find me. Do they know I won't give up? Let others find new homes, the fluffy ones, the tiny pups. But me? I'm sure you're gentle, kind, adopting out of pity a dog who's blind. But I'm still waiting for my true heart, Mum, the one who left me. I know she'll come.
Hmm.
And finally, a rather more cheerful one. It's called She Dared. She decided to dance with her soul, letting go of old stiff garments, moth-eaten robes, faithful shoes, all fitting in familiar folds. Conventionality had led the dance till then, curtsying to fear in feathered mask of what might neighbours say? Better to dance in the greyness of normality, 2.4 children, the second marriage, the hated job. Others find comfort in the dance of grey, gravely predictable, measured in step, in time with the expected. Why wouldn't she? But she shook off the grey, delighted in her vibrant hues, rounded the square dance and soared above them all, pirouetting while the grey ones stuttered, muttered, shook their heads and grumbled that this could only lead to stumbles. But she heard music in her heart, unbared, life-lifting lightness strapped to her soles, and dared.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I love that. I so like it resonates with me. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for that lovely
Mm.
read, Anna. Anna coming for us from England and a member of the Washington, D.C. poetry group, thanks to Zoom. And it was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for that lovely poem, Anna. It really was great.
Yeah.
Thank
Rose.
you, everybody. I'm just going off to read all the comments. Thank you for them.
Thank you. Our next reader is Jeff Smallwood. Jeff is a lifetime native of Maryland, resided near Chesapeake Bay for the last 24 years. He works as a software engineer by day and a photographer, poet, gardener by night and weekends. Jeff participates regularly in poetry events around the area, the Annapolis regions, DC, and his photography and poetry are most recently included in the book Hacks, an anthology of Southern Maryland poetry. Jeff?
Great. Thanks, Mark. Audio okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. I have 2 poems to share today. Let me do the share screen. Going to start with a,
We don't have it yet, Jeff.
okay.
Got
There,
it.
did it start?
Yeah, we're getting it now, yes.
Okay. First one's a more lighthearted, I guess you might call silly one. QWERTY arrives at therapy. Thank you for seeing me, Doc. I report on restless and shaky with a fear of some sort. Tell me more of these feelings so we can appraise what course of action may cure your malaise. It's these dreams, Doc, repeating each night. I'm a mess, can't get enough sleep, and I'm feeling depressed. What are these nightmares about? She inquired. I can hear in your voice, you sound nervous and wired. Each night, the same thing. Special characters' numbers show up uninvited, their reach unencumbered. The dream starts, a party I've been planning for weeks. Things seem quite normal until 7 speaks. You're a 0, he yells in my general direction. Then things get weird as they toast insurrection. 5, who is drunk with no shirt, spills his beer, announces to all, dude, the specials are here. I look where he's pointing. The scene runs in slow-mo. There's Slash on my deck, strumming a banjo. Pound hash and tic-tac-toe, jig side by side. If they're 1 or they're 3, no one can decide. Dollar signs high as a kite by the bar. Cent sits beside him and eats Malamars. Plus smokes a pipe and questions his niche. Less than tells greater than, commas, a bitch. Old ampersand's hunched because it's got a slipped disc. I hear it tell 4, kiss my fat asterisk. Percent in the at side dash off to badminton. And who is it that joins them? Is that Tilda Swinton? 6 hangs with 9 and they dance the yin yang. Then they're off to the bedroom to interrobang. The parenthesis twins drive a car that is stolen. We all know they took it from Pop's semicolon. Then quick as a blink, the dream ends, just like that. I try to sleep more, but my efforts fall flat. Who invited these specials? I don't want them around. Sick of random digits, wish they'd get out of town. I just want to relax in the ease of remembrance with names of your pets or best friends or parents, sequential numbers, letters and numbers, or birthdays of kids. That's too easy to guess, they will say, God forbid. I'm unworthy in light of these specifications. I just can't live up to these high expectations. The therapist sat in a deep windowed thought, remembered what it felt like to be this distraught. After thinking it through, replied, "You're not alone. I'll share with you something that I've always known." Her words were delivered in a voice calm and true. Don't worry, password. I'm insecure too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's
Brilliant.
great, Jeff.
Thanks. And the second one, take a different route with this one. This one is a concrete poem in defense of Stegosaurus. Who among us doesn't wear plates on their back, stuffed with letters of rejection, childhood memories that never forgot, indecisions dissolved in cactus water, unfilled cups of coffee? And who doesn't ferry spikes on their tail on occasion, masked with laughter, rows of unapologetic barbs that grow traffic jam rigid in daylight, but soften in the shadow of a peach pit beneath a gin-soaked pacifier? I bet they didn't know what their plates and spikes were for, only how to wield them in moments of terror or in free fall. I cannot criticize, for 100 million years of evolution have yet to hand the keys to me. So I pursue the lessons that teach me to be brave, to accept what my armor is hiding, to outwit this walnut brain, roll over to expose an underbelly with the hope that I can stop swinging my tail.
Wow.
That's the two I was going to share. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Very good.
That was awesome. Thank you, Jeff.
Wonderfully done, Jeff. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Love the way you play that. It's wonderful. Yeah, really great way to read a poem, have a poem read to you like that. It's really good. Thank you, Jeff. And everybody, of
Please
course,
find
please,
your poems.
yeah, please put, after you read and all that, please put some information where we can contact you and, some links you might want to share with us. And that chat will be available to everybody so they can always catch up with it. Thank you.
Okay, I'll put my email address in the chat.
Sure, thanks.
Thanks. Thank you.
So our next poet is Prey Presenta from South Africa, and Prey is really, she sent me a biography, a little bit too humble, but she recently she recently started poetry and with the world and is honored to be sharing her pieces with us. Indeed, if you fancy, you can follow her on Poets Dash Inferno. Pray, I'll put you on. I'll put your poems on for you.
Thank you so much. I don't mind sharing. I've got them here as well.
Here you go. There you go.
Ah, perfect. Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's a happy Friday night from South Africa. I'm really excited to be here and to share some of my poetry. Hi, Lakan. Miss you too. Okay, cool. So this is my first time sharing on Poetry 28, so I'm excited. The first one I'm going to be reading is called Taboo. So you're going to scroll for me as well, Mark, please.
Sure, of course.
Perfect, thank you. Beautiful mind, trapped soul. Your scars, I want to trace them to that place where I know I reside. I want to crack you open and run my tongue through your celestial being, gape through your wounds and see all the things I know lie beneath. I want to make love to the smog and darkened scum that you use to shield you from feeling. Breathe you in, let it darken my lungs. I want to reach my hand into your soul, groping, wanting, caressing. That's where I know I'll find me. Let me purse open your love. Let me reach out from inside you to connect with me. I know I'm in there, intertwined in your essence, under your skin, in between your fingernails. For a single moment in time, say you're mine. Let your soul imprint itself on mine, and for once, I'll be yours. Cool, that was the first one, thank you. And then you can actually scroll, yeah, cool. So this one is a dedication to my mama, because she's like the most amazing person I know. It's not too long, but yeah, it's I shared it with her on Mother's Day, and she was quite chuffed. So here goes. And in my darkest times, I call on you. I rest my head upon your chest to hear the sound of my beginning, the song of my origins, the song of your labor, of your maternal love. You are the Alpha and the Omega, the gentle flit of a butterfly's wing, the angry bellow of the guarded lioness, a wispy caress of feathery affection, the stormy bombarding of fervent scolding, all rolled up into the skin and flesh of you, the skin and flesh of me. As I awaken spiritually, I am aware of the reality of you birthing me and me birthing you. Renewed awareness of the feminine strength that lies within you to create life, to endure bloodied pain. Again, again, again. I once looked up at you, cowering in your presence, a disciplinarian, the keeper of rules, the guardian of my chastity. Yet now, I see you as my guide, an example of the potential that lies dormant in me. I see my equal, my advisor, the one I want to fervently protect and embalm in my love. The irony, how she has become she and she has become she. Live through me, laugh through me, achieve through me, and I will be the vicarious victor for you, standing testament to your truth, writing the story of you that was never written and living the life of yours that was never lived. When I'm done, they'll know you. They surely will. And that's it. Thanks, everybody.
Well, thank you for that very intimate poetry
Thank
and
you.
very sensual read. Thank you.
And thank you for all the love in the comments. I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Sure. Uh, our next poet is one somewhat well known now from India, Unmesh. Uh, Unmesh has had a tremendous influence on me and many other poets with his absolute freedom and very unique style of delivery of his wonderful poems. And I have his book here, Light, Shadow, Life. Mesh has his own events now and is a very popular poet on the international poetry Zoom scene, and proudly introduce you on Mesh. Yeah, you're on mute, Unmesh. Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Thanks a lot for that fabulous introduction. I should have recorded it. Just give me a second. I will just share my screen. Okay. 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 Please let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yes.
Right. Here we go.
Let me make it a little larger if you could.
Okay, I will just.
Sure,
Okay.
thanks.
That is fine now.
Blow it up a little bit for us if you could. There you go.
Better now? Yeah.
The better, yes.
Yeah, so these are first to our poetry in 13. I love this format. I don't know why, but I love this format. Okay. Access keys to happiness. Access keys to happiness, an illusion. Keys are just to lock happiness out. Keys are just to lock happiness out. The next one, mellowed down. Mellowed down now. He only watches burning fires, changing gears, rampaging needlessly. Rampaging needlessly. This is a bit longer one. Never-ending road, ever-connected oceans, unfathomable skies. Imagine if the sun breaks up. Imagine if the moon loses light. Imagine if the oceans go dry. But there are people who are not supposed to break. Breakups are for free souls who die in peace, but for the tormented, even after death, the agony stays. Breakup is not for them. Breakup is painful, not as painful as being broken forever. Yes, there are people who are not supposed to break, like carrying a never healing injury. Even compassion hurts. Breakups and breakdowns are for the lucky ones who can go away. The flood comes and goes, the lightning strikes and goes, the cyclone falls and goes. And there are people who are not supposed to break. Family broken, life stolen, people suffering, the pain never goes away. A caged bird whose wing is broken, lonely plant in the desert waiting for the rains. Sometimes even the skies break up, but there are people who are not supposed to break. The clouds burst open and weep as if everything is lost. What about the sun? No, no, he can't end. He has no choice but to burn endlessly, and the world prospers in the heat of his flames. No, the sun cannot break up. Yes, there are people who are not supposed to break. Yes, there are people who are not supposed to break. And this is the last one.
Huh. Oh, let me catch my breath.
It's called funeral, okay?
Sure.
Funerals, like marriages, are made in heaven. You never know when it's your turn. Different types of people grace the funerals, near and dear ones, absolutely shaken, broken, unrelated, careless, young, looking at death as if they are immortal. But the middle-aged ones are shaken to the core. Late 40s, hairline receding, wrinkling, wearing glasses which they never wanted to. Want to hide their glasses, gray hairs, receding hairline, exploding waistline. Too many things to hide, very few to display. Always thinking, what will happen next? The funeral shows the future. Last, is he afraid of death? Not sure. Responsibility he takes as burden gives him a scare, but still, funeral reminds him piano he used to play, book he wanted to read, places he wanted to go, poems he wanted to write, love he wanted to experience. It's not that he never tried to sing a song, but the lyrics abandoned him at the last minute. The rhythm was never to be found. It is not that money was always a problem. He equates pressure to money. More pressure, more money, more cars, more pressure, bursting his heart one day. Heart which used to feel love, touch, anger, raw passion. Funeral reminds him time is limited. In fact, there is no time left. He has to read the book now, play the guitar now, sing that song now. Book tattered, guitar broken, rhythm shaken, but he has to do it now. He comes back from the funeral to do everything now, shaken and stirred. He slips, sleeps, thinks of the great future. He wakes up, gets ready, goes to office, comes back tired, goes to sleep, wakes up again, repeats the same thing till the next funeral, which he might be able to see or he might not be able to see. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Wow.
That was beautiful, Amesh. As
Thank
always,
you.
Unmesh.
killed it.
As always, indeed.
Yeah,
Oh,
powerful.
I decided I will not read.
That was
I
a
can-
that was one of your longer poems, Unmesh, and I was happy to see a longer poem too. It was narrative was you picked up a lot. It was a great poem. Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing all that. Yeah.
I cannot read
Thanks.
after that. Thank you,
Sure.
Amish.
Yeah. Well, moving on. A lot of good poetry here. It's just take a deep breath. Our next wonderful poet is Sarvan, my friend from England. Sarvan is a writer, spoken word artist, and psychotherapist living in London. She's originally from Iran and raised in Austria. She's passionate about meaning and creativity and writes about what it's like to be human in society, including her own experiences. Sarvan, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Hi, everyone. Really cool to be here. Following Unmesh, my God. Okay, that was really great. Okay, I'm gonna try and share content. Did that work? No. Okay. Can everyone see it? Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
see-
can see it now.
Yeah, I can see it.
we did say it.
You can see it. Okay.
It appears and disappears.
Yeah, we don't see
Yeah,
it.
I added up and now it's down. Now we just.
You can see it
There
now.
we go.
Now
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
there we go.
There you go.
All right. Well, I can't see myself, but that's fine, I guess. So the first one is called So What is Love? And all of my poems are a love theme this time. And it's different takes on love. So what is love? I ask myself. I should have the answers. I'm out of breath. My brain is focused. And my stomach's a roller coaster. I don't eat much. I don't even need it. I'm on some kind of terrible high, so insistent, impulsive, reckless, spontaneous, compulsive. I feel overjoyed, over the moon for many moments. Living in my head, connected to you, it's life's biggest prize. I'm awarded. Beautiful lies, scary promises. But I'm brave when I'm in love. Oh, wait. Is this the fairy tale? Maybe I don't know what love really is. Maybe I never had it. Maybe I shouldn't be asking myself, but those who were really taught it. What's good enough? What's love enough? I don't even know where to start. It's complicated, convoluted, unreal, real. It's the biggest fucking deal. I'm so tired of love. It's outspoken, outrageous, overrated. It's hard to do, hard to receive, even hard to just believe. I'm done with love and figuring it out. I think I'll take a shower.
Right.
Thank you, that was the first one. This one I wrote for Valentine's Day, which was kind of a mock of it, but real. Who needs love when you've got yourself? Well, I certainly don't. I can sit here on my bed, legs crossed, with a breakfast tray of food and a screen of entertainment. What more could I want? What more could I need? Love yourself, they say. And I did, and I am, and I'm satisfied. I'm so free. Who could come steal my freedom and have me be happy about it? I just can't picture it. Having to change the channel would just frustrate me. Changing out of comfy pajamas into chafing jeans, not for me. Okay, so it's Valentine's Day. Everyone's got someone on their arm, candy hearts and shared bottles of wine, I'm not alarmed. I get the whole bottle to myself and every single candy heart. If that's not self-love, I don't know what is. And I don't need to worry about the weight of someone else's arm, the increasing sweat of their palm, how much wine they're going to drink, having to carry them home. I won't need to share the sweets. I get them all. I've really got it good. I can meet my every need. So what's the point of falling in love? Okay.
Here, here.
Final one. All right. I can't eat. I can't sleep. My heart is hung dry. The rack empty. Bar a single heart, blood dried up on the sides. I am heavy, content, cared for. Bliss in my ears, nuzzled kisses against my skin. I am open to heaven. Come get me and take me away into bare souls, twisted ankles that keep me sweet and soft, lived into. Wear and tear, my tears pour down without insight. I am dumb for your love. The hiss of intimacy when no one's the boss. I can run, but I don't want to. Your gentle hands, my rough demands are on pause for today and tomorrow. I'm yours. Because nothing is as important as touch and bones. I am sour, but with a smile plastered all the way down to my toes. Stripped of power, but not helpless. I am dormant, but not a doormat. My door is wide and steady. I am present, but I am not stone or cold or lonely. A rattling giggle, a playful acceptance. It's real and natural. And I'm jolting into the perfection of existence. If this is it, thank you. I'll have seconds. I'll eat more till I'm plump but light and bouncy. You can't stop me from falling in love. I'm not trying. It's happening. I'm allowing it. Watch my spirit unfold. Thank you.
Mark, you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you, Sarvan, really crossing over the boundaries between performance and poetry. And it's just really a lovely read, really very moving, and I love it.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Thank you indeed. Please leave some information about you in the chat, and sure everybody would be excited to keep in touch, really. I just got a call from Marissa, who'll be just a couple of minutes late, so we'll move on to the next, which is Trisha. And I no longer know how to introduce Trisha Fenbel. There's just too much there. Trisha has become such a permanent person involved in the international poetry scene. She's part of the group that you'll be hearing a lot of, the Poetry Global Network. It has her own podcasts, her own many different activities on Zoom, and books and publications. And where do I start Tricia. But to say thank you for joining us and maybe introduce yourself with some of the more important events that you want to share with us.
Thank you so much, Mark. To begin with, I am happy to be part of the team that Mark Fishbein is on, which is the Poetry Global Network. Mark is one of the poetry heralds on the what we call the Poetry Times, which is poetry news.
Poetry Reacts, yeah. That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, I'm sorry. He is one of the poets who reacts, and the Poets Reacts along with Kemlin. And that happens, what day is it? Fridays, every Friday. We have another program that's also called the Poets React, which is on a Monday. And then finally mine, which is basically a chat or an interview, casual interview with different poet every week. It's called the Poets Lighthouse. It's actually happening tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific time. I know that was a terrible introduction, but I will put it more in the chat. I also have an open mic on Thursdays weekly, which is themed, and I love it, and we love it. We all love it. I'll put that information in the chat as well. So it must be something in the air about leading up from spring to summer, because much like Sarvan, my poems are about love, or at least love and lust. So this first one is called Sirena Sor Juana, which is a mermaid or siren and sorceress. A last swig of dark brew, his worries abandon his brow for the night. His 5 o'clock shadow is impatient for tomorrow. He bids me good night, and lights go out all over the world. I temper my aqueous turbulence. I chew on hard time leftovers, my mind clutters. Thickened leftovers to chew, no, gnaw really. Lines and meanings and pauses and breaths. I have ample time left on my plate. Lust is not a condiment. Love is not a meal, it is binge-eating madness. If left to my whimsy, a former self would emerge from the hardwood floor and climb into the attic, throwing down old vices on the landing to play heartbreak with later. I braid him into my life, careful plaits. I intone good intentions. I bind him into my anima, twine tightening. I breathe out my longing. There is no longer day or night. I want to strangle him in the sunlight fragrance of my hair. I want to initiate him into the intimacy of how my dreams make me languish in the tangled sheets between my legs. I want to make erratic patterns of sleep, lightning movement trip behind my eyelids. I want to compel him to gasp, to convulse and pine in the same seductive rhythm. I bide my time. Siren song silenced. I bid him good night, and lights go out all over the world. My limbs cross, uncross, impatient for tomorrow, but my brow is unruffled tonight. A last stir of dark brew. Thank you. So the second piece was actually a joint poem with the fabulous Lantern Carrier, but then they comprise basically 2 full poems. He did his own 8 stanzas of a poem and I did mine, but they share a title. It's called Love, the Accomplished Painting. Sing, sweetest nightingale, sing, warble on to the skies, the melody that imbues the heavens with our ardor's inviting tint. Do the seraphim, enchanted, take up the chorus? I suspect they secretly covet this passion burning bright, rivaling a morning star at its most luminous, before it plunges to its delicious downfall. I did not know the taste of solitude. At its heart, it possesses no flavor, but is bitter rind upon its edges. Your desire feeds me, overwhelms me. I am not naive without caution, yet I will free fall into you, trusting my love is reciprocated and you will catch me. In my mind, I am reticent, but the wind in my ears as I dive distract me. When I emerge rebirthed from a swallowing sea, soy la diosa luna y tú mi amante, el sol impávido. Our tryst half in shadow, our lips touch in passing, our bridge feathered, gaseous and void. Do our avian conspirators pray to Friar Lawrence or the nursemaid? They are giddy to be part of the ruse. They have decided to aid us, feigning 1 part pity, relishing 3 parts intrigue. The morning star remembers the first time he toppled. He says the apple was worth the infatuation. Seraph naked, safe for their halo, run chaste heels over the dancing spit and watch the flames lick beneath their belly. Sing, sweetest nightingales, sing. Your cries touch the morning and she smiles, half awake, half dreaming. The night still caresses her limbs. In repose, a moment more, she plays the besotted fool. And then I wanted to just end with this last tiny one called Lights On. I turn the lights off, return to join the living. Love will not grace the marquee tonight. Candy floss and smiling, I prowl the streets once more, up the fire escape to my lonesome room. I frame myself in the window. I switch the red light on. My neon sign wavers, you flicker back. Smoke halos your head, and you smirk knowingly in slate. I guess fireflies can lose their faith too. You veer the far left from ever being Mr. Right, but you are right there, you are right now. Hey there, stranger, come on up. I turn the light back on for you. Thank you so much.
Mm. Wow. Thank you. It's always good to see your poems as well as hearing your sweet voice reading them, Trisha. Really
Thank you so
great
much, Mark.
work. Thank you. So leave a couple of the many different events that you can in the chat, and now I'll introduce someone that often does the hosting for Trisha at some of her events, Nicholas. Hello, Nicholas. Oh, there you are.
Hey,
Hi,
Mark.
hi,
Hey,
Nick.
Mark. How's it
Yeah, good to
going?
see you. Yeah, good. I know you're here on the East Coast in Jersey, and I don't know that much about you other than I've heard you read some of your poems, and they're always very exciting. So, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit more, and I'll get your poems on for you.
Sure, I'll introduce myself. So my name is Nick Villalobos. I am a poet who sort of like, pretty much found my way to a
You're
lot of.
coming in a little bit muffled, Nick. Okay.
Is this any better?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, maybe it might just be my mic,
Sure.
whatever. Hang on 1 second. Let me just fix that. All right, cool. Let's go. All right, so I'm a poet, host. I've worked on 3 different anthologies over the span of this last year. I Can't Breathe. There's gonna be a volume 2 that a good friend of mine, brother of mine, Paul Conqueso, is working on and starting to get everything together for that. We also just did Love Letters to Gaia too as well. So that one was released on April 20th, 420, for all the people who like store stuff and everything. It's on Amazon too as well. I'm going to be hosting a new show coming up soon with The Word Is Right starting on June 2nd. That'll be at 9:15. More details to come about that very soon. I've been writing for a while. I started back when I was about 20 years old. I should have started earlier than that, but everyone should have. I don't know. That's just me and everything like that. And then I got into it, and then I got out of that, worked a little bit of music, and then I got back into writing again a few years before the pandemic. And then when the pandemic hit, everything just came right into my face and everything. So here I am and everything. I'm going to be sharing 2 poems for you tonight. This first one I wrote on Monday. It's a newer piece of mine. It was because I was creating so much and I just felt so much pressure. So this one was about all the pressure that I've been feeling, and this one is called Boxed. I have been in a funk, write, create, repeat, boxed in, like boxer pushing me to post, like Manny Pacquiao punches, like Mike Tyson punches, to post up, like Abdul Jabbar, like Garnett, like Antetokounmpo. Move swiftly, move with force, poke the shot to swish, no rim, until I'm tired. 2 a.m. beckons, can't sleep yet. I got a fresh idea that could be put onto paper, drawing out my soul's ink, which makes me lesser of a person. I'm in pain. It's like eating the same meal over and over again. It's a bland deliciousness of the same sad energy. I'm like that Alice in Chains song, a man in the box, buried in my shit. Save me, grasp my hand and pull me out of the ocean of emotions. I have been looming for oxygen, though I can only inhale fire. Hydrogen is flammable, so why can't I breathe? How could a video, talking, or even a book save me when my mind is running with creative thoughts? It's another ad versus reaction. I'm still in the box, floating on, looking for land. I'm hungry. I've been starving for years. I'm going to die if my soul won't be filled. That one was kind of a bit heavy right there. That was the first one right there. This second one's a lot later. So this one I wrote when I got my vaccination. There was an event that was going on that was 2 weeks after, literally after I was been fully vaccinated. And I said, I'm going home. I'm going back to a show, and I want to feel home again. So this one is called Welcome Home. Home is not a structure. It isn't a place to carve condos out of wood and gravel or mansions out of castles. It's a haven away from attacking ravens that are ravenous to suck you dry down to the last drop of bone marrow, a place to retreat from defeat and mend your broken arrows, a place to celebrate your victories, to sing praise and bask in benevolent beats and beauty. Home was taken away from me in 2020. I had to find a new shelter. It was a water-fronting, breaking, opening my third eye to tearing tears out of the cornea down to the earth, to see beyond towns and homes and lands, to understand elegance. It's more than a year later, more than 200 poems written, having been a host on 3 different shows, having enough material for my first book. It felt like I brought more substance to the talented table I break bread with. It was not about the food or drinks. It's about the stories and the memories. I'm not afraid to wear my scars like tattoos. I'm not afraid of whether I should censor myself. I'm not afraid to call multiple places primary residences. Home is where the music sings without instruments and instructions. Home is where the words wrap around the mind and kiss the ears. Home is where the mic is filled to the brim with music, comedy, and poetry. Home is friends. Friends become family. Family is forever, no matter how far away we all are. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you for being part of this family, Nick. That was really beautiful. Thanks, man.
Love that.
Indeed. That was great. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, everyone. Everyone's been awesome tonight. Thank you for having me, Mark. This has been awesome. I love what you've done with this Planet Poetry. This is awesome.
No, thank you. There's too many great voices. Oh, Marissa, you're here. Do you want to go right on, or would you want to settle in?
Sure. No, I'm ready. I can go.
Oh, so to introduce Marissa, Marissa is a poet, performing poet, and poet, and of all the subjects she handles, be they erotic or personal or historical, I'm just always overwhelmed by them. She's also a partner in the Poetry Global Network, Poets Reacts, with me, and does other events as well, and has a huge inventory of publishing and all types of events that she does as well. So many of us here on this particular event site have our own, have events of different types that get different audiences, and Marissa is indeed one of those amongst us all. So take it away.
Thank you, Mark. Hello, poetry family. I'm so excited to be here. I apologize for the delay in my attendance, but better late than never. So because Finn Bell is here and Mark is a big music guy, and I'm hoping you guys will love this, I picked the piece that I wrote in Finn Bell's workshop. Well, it was her open mic, actually, and her theme was Painted Black from the Rolling Stones. And so I'm going to do a share screen so you can see the page poetry. This is a tribute poem to the Rolling Stones. There is 105 Rolling Stones titles in this piece. So I hope if you love music and you love the Rolling Stones, that this will do them justice. So here we go. Let me just make it a little bit, there we go, bigger.
We still have the black screen.
It's okay. So let me know when you can see it.
Got it.
Okay, good. Okay, here we go. Painted black. Give me shelter from the love in vain I wait in vain for. Around and around, I am a fool to cry these far away eyes, for this out of time clock will not fade away. Only cry for me for an emotional rescue, so worried about you and your heart of stone. Give me shelter from these torn and frayed days. You drift away, gotta get away. Can't take the flight 505 'cause our deep love don't stop. And somehow that's not what you want. So painted black, painted all back in the aftermath of you. Sweet black angel, hand of fate, tumbling dice, loving cup of brown sugar satisfaction. Prodigal son, street fighting sensei man, still time is on my side. To ride on, baby, shine a light on, then painted black. Let's spend the night together, then painted black. I want to be loved back, then painted black. You'll be waiting on a friend, dead flowers in your hand, dandelion connection like a Rolling Stone headstone, goodbye girl letter in hand, monkey man. Twist the towel of fate and let it bleed black. My life spent finding you, just you, fool. Then painted black, painted all back in time. When the whip comes down, wild horses will play with fire under cover of the night. Don't cry for this child of the moon, honky-tonk woman. She's a rainbow, was a rainbow, midnight rambler, walking a moonlight mile, solo journey of no expectations under my thumb just before they make me run saying, it's only rock and roll anyway. So go find you a factory girl, backstreet girl, all about you, girl. She was hot enough to rip this joint connection. Some girls let it loose, a little T and A. Store me in your memory motel, high and dry just the way you left me, for I'm all sold out of scrap scribbles used to immortalize you from my imagination. I don't know why I can't quit you, break the spell of you, Ruby Tuesday revolution, rough justice rodeo, clowning jigsaw puzzle of complicated. So get off my cloud. Star, star, fall, fall, shattered this 19th nervous breakdown, beast of burden on ventilator blues. How can I stop when time waits for no one? Like I am waiting for, you can't always get what you want when I love another and know it should be you, having forgotten this low down luxury of love to painted black, paint it all back. This is the last time I will ever miss you, miss you, miss you. Tired of the misuse of my time, misuse of my love, misuse of my mind to find any more words for you. I'm moving on if you let me. It's not easy to paint it black, to paint it all back, but I gotta go. Let me go, let us go. See you all down the line. Sister morphine slave, she's so cold, but I'm going home to happy heaven. Can't you hear me knocking? It's all over now. I'm free. For when the pale horse comes, you'll see. That's how strong my love is, baby. Give me shelter to paint it all away.
Yeah.
Did you
Ooh,
love that?
I loved it. I'm going to get Mother's Little Helper. I mean, that was just great.
It was a fun page poem to type out and write out because of I like to be very playful on the page. I like how you let us do the screen sharing, Mark.
No, it really it helped also. And that's a great exercise, man. It's really good. Well
I'll
done.
pop all my socials in the chat, but definitely come follow me, Marissa Prada on Facebook, Prada Painting and Poetry on IG. I co-author The Word Is Right, WRITE on Facebook. I author Poetography 505. I have my own press, Red or Green Books. Red is READ, because I live in New Mexico and red and green chili is our livelihood. So, but thank you, Mark. Thank you, Poet.
Sure. I can't see you, at least in my view. So the next poet is Dale Brown. Hi, Dale.
Hi, thank
There
you
you
so
are.
much for having me. Yeah,
Thank you
so I'm
indeed.
gonna read. Yeah, thank you
Dale,
so
you want
much.
to introduce a little about yourself? I don't really have a little bio on you. You want to give a couple of sentences?
Yeah, I think
You're here in the Washington area?
that's correct.
Yeah.
And thank you for letting me talk a little about myself. I wrote a book around 20 years ago called I Know I Can Climb the Mountain. And I've written poetry since I was 8. But I have a problem. Making a living has been a serious interference in my poetry. So, what happened was I recently started with open mics because of Zoom. I was able to get there. I was able to do it. I won a contest. I gained some confidence. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to read Harness, which is one of my poems. Okay. And are you going to put it up, Mark? Could you do that? I think it would be easier if you scroll.
Yeah, you got it.
All right. I forged a metal harness made of heavy chain. Despite severe discomfort, I placed it on my brain. I seemed to be unable, though I searched hard to find, another method to control my overactive mind. My brain, it groaned and whimpered, trembled, moaned, and pled, before it had been free, not trapped inside my head. Free. Yes, free to wander, to dance in sparkling sun. Not using freedom wisely, it had a lot of fun. It daydreamed and it fiddled with its pictures and its words. Equations and experiments, it mashed and minced and stirred. As much as I enjoyed just letting my brain go, unless it learned some discipline, it would never grow. For full of bubbling ideas, as a brain may be, it must learn to turn its dreams into reality. So I placed the harness around my bucking brain, hoping hard that it would try to endure the strain. Instead, it wormed and wiggled in an attempt to glide or slip out of the harness which it was trapped inside. I pulled the harness tight to hold my brain within. I was fighting with my brain, and I was going to win. My brain began to tremble, quiver, quake, and shout. I hurt. I hate this harness. Please, oh, let me out. Oh, no, I angrily replied. You've caused me enough pain. Inside my lovely harness, you simply must remain. But with a very final and disdainful jerk, my brain blew up my harness and all my sweaty work. To my left's a broken harness. To my right lies links of chain. But someday I'll find a way to capture me, my brain.
Yes.
That was so good. Brilliant.
As we all clap. The modern clappy. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dale. That was
Thank
a
you.
lovely word. Wow. So moving on, I have Miro, as known. Miro is. Tell us a little about yourself, and then please share.
Oh, we don't have enough time for me to talk about myself. Well, I'm a writer, I'm a poet, environmentalist, feminist, and I'm here. So I'm going to share. All right, can everybody see that?
Sure. We can blow it up a little bit, perhaps.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So this first one is called Rise. To the light I rise, to the noise and grit, the color and movement, to the smells and crowds and garbage on pavement, I rise. From the rails, the outdated labyrinth, bangin' and clangin' and screechin', moving these weary bodies a jerk and a stop beneath this city covered in potholes and the filth of broken dreams. To the light I rise, grinding those black polka dots I assume used to be gum into the diamond patterns of each step I rise, step by step by step by step by step by step. I step along with the stranger's eyes to the ground, looking for vermin darting from cracks in the walls. Quickly I rise, quickly, quickly toward the light, toward the air, though the air is just as bad and the crowds are that much thicker. I rise to the whirlwind of this city. Does it get any better? Not really. Yet I rise, eager, because it's better than that subway crazy.
Yeah.
This one time at the Met. One is never alone long in the city. It happened to me once, a full 10 seconds alone in a gallery that doesn't see too many. I turned to realize the room was empty, save for the rugs on the wall, the swords in their display cases. I exhaled into the stillness until the next person made an appearance. And my last one. That wasn't a love poem. Do you really like my poetry? Or do you just like the way my mouth moves when I read? Are you listening to my piece? Or are your eyes fixated on how my lips curl around my words, your mind wandering off somewhere I wouldn't want to be? Do you think you're being cute when you email letting me know you keep having this image? All you're doing is telling me you weren't paying attention. The guy and I didn't end up together, and I only got explicit because the piece called for it. I shouldn't have to explain what I spit. My poem has a right to exist as is, and if you want to think about it after the fact, fine. I can't control what goes on in your mind. But that you felt the need to let me know comes off as creepy, and now I feel I gotta watch what I say when you're in the room. May I point out, if I were a man, this probably wouldn't be an issue. I can see how you'd think I'm making a big deal out of nothing. What I write is open to interpretation. I'm not trying to be sexy, I'm just expressing what weighs against my chest. But if that's what you want to take from it, okay. But please, No need to tell me. Thanks, everybody.
Super.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
I think everybody really enjoyed that really very intimate read, as it were. Thank you. Well, the next reader I have is Lacan from Manila, soon to be London. And Lacan is, besides being a spearhead of the Poetry Global Network, is a performance poet that has a lot of notoriety. I think he has 6 figures worth of people following him on Instagram, and is a well-known personality in the upcoming world of Zoom poetry and other poetry. And I don't know what else I can say about Lacan other than so please take it away.
Thank you so much, Mark. It's good to be back. Actually, zooming. I have rested for quite a while, and I love Mark's platform. I've been a huge fan of his share screen model. And that started back in July of last year when I first attended the DC Poetry Collective's events and workshop. So, okay. Magandang umaga because it is 3:28 in the morning in the Philippines. Good morning. Um, and okay, so my name is Lacan and I'm a page performance slam street poet. Okay, not so street anymore because I cannot busk in the streets because there's COVID. So there we go. Anyway, magandang umaga. Okay, so my first piece, let's go for it. I will now share screen. So let me know if you see this.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so this has been kind of my newest flagship. I wrote this after it made me remember my first open mic in New York in July of last year. No, this is not Nuyorican. Definitely not Nuyorican because I love Nuyorican. This is another open mic, and it reminded me. I got reminded of this um, when I joined this writing event um, in the U.S. last early May of this year, and somebody told me that, oh, you have good vocabulary for an Asian. So I was like, okay, let me write on that. So the title is Holding Shift and Reboot. Breathe. Oxymoron clicks beginning. As I enter a room full of chagrin cliques, 6 a.m. of a Manileño in New York. Screens the screens of gasps. Enter, nation, alt control, delete. If only skin can ration silence, volumes of stares can scream. Their gawking murmurs can backspace my throat longer. My fingers had spaces on linger paces, unmute or video off. Either way, irony types quickly between an underscored accent or a dashed face. Judgment is live in the background. The mic opens in Filipino, closest in minimized rotation. Assimilate or assassinate. Toggles in windows that knows how to shut itself. X is easy when you're Asian in the West. Bracket Y is terminated in quotations. Exit signs in with parentheses, smiles. Diversity is caps. Lock the pleasantries. Redo gratitude. It's your button payment. Currency is spelled much like courtesy. A non-ivory key in the board of poetry. Down, says the arrow. We just follow. Apparently, mimicry is numbered 1, 2, 3 minutes. Are spelled by flicking nails, cursing the breathing. Even that is white. Copy, cut the tones, piece to piece, add a comma, slash a cadence. Hence, rhythm aligns in a bend, colon. They do love a good commute. Mirror the words they don't need a browser for. Search, switch. Asians can't be a bitch. Don't be a pointer. Trash can't be labeled. Recycle branded ethos. Refresh as it ends. Period. a whole symbol of a coded bow. Done for the charity Eastern character. Case sticker stop with their tab claps. Be content, you're just a break in their menu. Compliment isn't cheap. It's free, really, especially for a third world country. Function to appear welcome. Asterisk, exclusivity, a setting hidden in the piles of chats. Generosity shared a dull slot for a non-native English speaker. Page is a slide on the side. Time to log off, the poor islander who can zoom. Me. Everyone waves with the control W. Tilde. F1 is never a shortcut in the capital. Thank you. Ah, right, okay. So that's my first piece. Can I have another one?
Please, yeah.
Oh,
I've seen
cool.
that poem before. I really enjoy that poem. It's got so
Thank
many
you.
little quirks to it. It's
Thank you so much, Mike. Oh, okay. So before my second piece, I'd like to invite everyone. I'll be featured in a benefit event by Paris Lit Up Festival. It's gonna be on June 2nd. That's gonna be 8:15 p.m. Paris time, and it's for the Waters Benefit event. Then on the 26th of June, I'm gonna be in a poetry film again at the Paris Lit Up Festival on the 26th of June. Then late July, I'll be featured at the Poetry Festival Singapore. So July 30, yes. Okay, there we go. So this is why am I scared with my next piece? Okay, so
Wait, July what, please?
July 30th. You can check out their Facebook, Singapore Poetry Festival Singapore. So for my next piece, here we go. It's a it's a long piece, but it's a performance piece. That's okay. The title is Comforting. Are you hurt? Did I strike a chord? The same chord, a chord that has strangled people like me who you thought jumped out of a Nat Geo special or part of the UN humanitarian mission. I'm sorry. I forgot how you're underprivileged. There. It's all right. It's okay. You've been miserable all this time. The times where you sold 7 million people for $20 million or raped our lands for hundreds of years. How about carpet bombing everywhere else or supporting fascists to win a war you love meddling on? Oh, I know it's not you. It's your ancestors. Your continued policy of the world is so innocent. The economic embargoes, the shock and awe, ignorance of where the nukes are, or walking out from any summit because you have the funds, the weapons, and the arrogance. Oh, of course, it's not you. Screw the politicians who get elected by who? You don't vote for that person. Goodness, minority apparently has clean hands, void of scrutiny. Poor you, poor years. So poor you can Zoom, eat every day, have a few shots of vaccinated apathy. Being numb is the new normal. How unfortunate that you don't have to experience the only EJKs, zero oxygen tanks, and kids who wonder why water is supposed to be blue. Unlucky you. Who box people in compartments? Well, you do have cultural appropriation. That's equality, not exclusivity. Fabulous. We're so ignorant. Re-education of caste systems should be innovated. You're so good at shading us with treaties where allies work for you. It's not selfish. It's fair trade. Aren't you so desolate? Detached, deprived of children being raped for dinner, farmers who can't eat their own crops, export jobs in, or selling your daughter in a neon brothel so they can be fucked over by who? I bet you don't know. You don't even know all the state capitals, or that Notre Dame is not a university in Paris, and Texas was Nueva Filipinas before. I feel your pain, but who cares about history? Life is terrible for you. It must be so heavy. responsibility of being a self-proclaimed alibi, of being to beg vodka on your apartment or to queue up on subway stations. It's penurious. Checking which country to travel next, maxing visa online, or donating stupid cents for charity. Must be so painstaking for you. Being a know-it-all is excruciating. So we must swallow our accents so you can puke yours everywhere. Harrowing. Yes, we have to adjust because the universe is cruel to you. Devastating that you have a house, a job, stimulus government. That's just horrible. You deserve to be forgiven for things you're too proud to ask penance for. Life's so tough for you. Tight hugs. You do love smothering everyone with consular consensual pleasantries. It must be an evil, tiring for you to have poverty in your croissants, wine glasses, and college diplomas. OMG, you're exhausted from this banter. You know what? I'll just shut up. Like how you want us to do every time. We're so lucky anyway, right? Chat later. I'm here for you. Adios. Thank you.
No, thank you, Lacan, for reading that to us. I think
Thank you.
it was
Maraming
really
salamat.
good that you read that to us, and that we really, I think, enjoyed hearing it. It really was a fine read.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you.
Salamat, salamat.
Lacan, that was good. Lacan, do you want to add anything other than what you said? You put in the chat, or just a couple of words before we move on?
Oh, yes, for sure. Please, please, please like, subscribe, follow the Poetry Global Network. And we have 19 poets who came together from different parts of the world. This is created by poets, for poets, and their poetry. And I think everybody deserves to have that freedom to express and the fighting chance to write and perform poetry. So please check out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you so much, everyone. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, thanks for staying up, Lacan, for this crazy hour in the morning for you. And next is Kemlin, who's also a part of my group there in the Poets React. Kemlin comes to us in from Singapore, now in Arizona, and is a teacher and a fine poet, as you'll see.
Thank you.
Kemlin.
All right, I'll take over the screen then. All right, if I can find it. It's always a little tricky, isn't it? Oof, no, that's not it. Share screen. All right, where is it?
I think this probably wants to be deleted.
There we
there
go.
It is, yeah.
All right, there it is. Okay. So this one's in the middle of publication right now. Let me just make it a tad bit smaller. It's 90. Okay, good. All right. I am an artist as well as a poet and a performing arts poet as well. This is a twin cinema, and twin cinemas are a form that developed in Singapore. So you read the left as a complete poem, as that's the Ave Maria, and then on the right is a separate poem, and then you read it across. Okay. I sold my self-portrait to the highest bidder. Intaglio Madonna. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus, Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus nunc, et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. My mother birthed me in hopes that I would be beautiful, praying I would be good enough to be adopted into a nice home, daughter-in-law of a wealthy family, a decorative doll, jewel adorning, husband in company functions, bear sons, perpetuate their family name. She incised in me the importance of comportment. Sit with your ankles crossed. I ran away, carved my flesh with lovers whose names I no longer remember, disgraced the plate she carefully designed. no longer beautiful. Amen.
Mm.
Ave Maria, Mother birthed me in hopes that, gratia plena, I would be beautiful, praying I would be Dominus tecum, good enough to be adopted into a nice benedicta tu in mulieribus, home, daughter-in-law of wealthy et benedictus fructus, family, a decorative doll, jewel adorning, ventris tui, husband in company functions, bear, Jesus' sons, perpetuate their family names. She, Santa Maria, incites in me the importance of Mater Dei, comportment, sit with your ankles, ora pro nobis, crossed. I ran away, carved my flesh pecadoribus, with lovers whose name I no longer remember. Disgrace the plate, she, and ora motis nostre, carefully designed, no longer beautiful. Amen.
Oh,
Thank you. The second poem is a three-parter. I wrote this in 3 parts for Singapore Poetry Writing Month in conjunction with the National and International Poetry Month in April. The prompt was to find a poem that you wrote before when you were younger. So I found one that I wrote when I was 20, 32 years ago. This is a poem when I was blind for 2 weeks because I had ill-fitting contacts that sanded down my eyes, and I sat in darkness and in pain. Concerning pain, when tears could no longer come forth and pain had reached its peak, my flesh and body cried rest, for only rest could they seek. The tempter snarled, curse God and die, but to you, my Lord, my soul did cry, humble me, refine me, that's all I ask of you. Be my rock, be my shield, and do what you have to do, for I know you love me. And this thought will sustain this writhing, aching, hurting heart through all the pain. So that's my base text. And I'll prompt, the early prompt was to find the base text. Then the next part was to reflect on it and how would you rewrite it in English. Looking back, throughout all the pain hidden between end rhymes, what did you fear more, losing your sight or your faith? You sat in darkness fearing damnation if God heard the curses you exhale. And the final part of this prompt was to translate it into a different language. And I spend a lot of time speaking Spanish to my families in Arizona as I teach. So this is a translation of of looking back. Mirando hacia atrás, vendrá la vía dolorosa, entre las rimas finales. ¿A qué le temiste más? ¿Perder tu vista o perder tu fe? En la oscura te sentías los temblores de la condenación. Si Dios escuchara el maldiciones que exhalaste. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, and I did not mention, thank you, Ken. I didn't mention that Kemlin is also an artist, and during poetry readings on Reacts, she draws, as the poet is being presented, she draws an emotional statement of art and then shares it with us, and it's really very compelling. Thank you. And thank you all for hanging in there. We have 3 poets left, Christopher, Ender, and a new poet, Peter. So we're at the tail end, and thank you all for hanging in. And as far as Christopher George is concerned, was born in Liverpool. That great British voice of yours, and is currently. We've seen a lot of Christopher. He does essays and all kinds of programs concerning some of his favorite people from. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to put my thoughts together about you, Chris. Why don't you explain why don't you introduce yourself? I'm a little tongue-tied. Okay. You're on unmute. I was thinking of Edgar Allan Poe was the last one I recall you doing a journal.
Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe. I also have been writing a little bit about Audubon, and let me get to the beginning of this. John James Audubon's Birds of America was brought out in the 1820s. He was unable to find a patron in the United States, so he went to Europe, and he arrived in Liverpool in 1826, and the Rathbone family of merchants became his patrons. They were also family with a social conscience, and Basil Rathbone was a member of the family. He wasn't born in Liverpool, he was born in South Africa. And I lived on Greenbank Road near their mansion, Greenbank, and Penny Lane is just right there too. Audubon in Edinburgh, 1826. To the Brits, I'm a wild thing, an uncouth, long-haired, buckskin beast from the swamps, a Tupelo and Tupelo of their lost colonies. So be it. They invited me to their salons to display my art, but I'd be happier outside their frou-frou boxes, watching sparrows pick at dung in the street. I carefully arranged that band-tailed pigeon on a branch of dogwood. She looks alive, but I painted her dead. I shot her with my own gun. As they eyed the viviparous and me, the kept Kentucky woodsman, I dream that I sail the air above, feathered. And here's one of the illustrations from his Birds of America. Stolen. I wheel my mother into her nursing home. We reach her room. She asks, where am I? The bloated, unofficial Shrek doll she somehow acquired from somebody sits on the windowsill, glassy-eyed. I try to reassure her, put the TV on, kiss her cold cheek, hug her, but she's still confused. Then I'm strolling in the grounds, smoking my cigar, trying to compose myself to drive. A squirrel steals a sickle pear, races across the grass. A cardinal flies into the larch. Swallowtails drift round the ginkgo. Beyond the old pear tree, my mother's window, the fake Shrek doll is green in the corner. American Centurions. I take shelter under the arcade of Union Station. Light snow slants in and wets my face. Above the station doors stand marble centurions, mailed and armored, fit for Valhalla, with winged helmets. In a dusky window, I see a Hispanic busboy spread a crisp white tablecloth in the America restaurant. Later, I sip a scotch and water. My train hurtles into the heartland. I watch snow cover rough pasture and bison bend their backs to tufts of straw, chowing down as if it's their final meal. And Memorial Day, which we're going to celebrate on Monday, began as Decoration Day at the time of the Civil War. I end with this poem. Rows on rows of stones, each grave a life given, a flag for each stone. Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Chris. And Certainly understand your second poem concerning your mom, and those are very difficult things. I had situations similar with my dad, so I certainly understand that. And the other poems, but very interesting combination of image and poetry. Thank you again, Chris.
Sure.
Our next poet is someone I just met very recently, Ender, coming live from Istanbul. And I saw a couple of his poems, and certainly feel we're dealing with a wonderful poetry voice here. And so, Ender, I don't know that much about you, but certainly happy to have you here. And please share your poem and anything else you'd like to say. I know you have some books out and that you published all that.
Yeah, actually, I'm a poet originally from Istanbul, but I'm a resident of Washington, D.C. area, actually Virginia, Arlington. I was here for my family right now in Istanbul, and I stuck here. I'm trying to come back, but maybe next month. So it's a little bit late. So I think I'm 20%. So everyone is a little bit tired. I'm starting my poem. I have 3 books published, and we have a PDF digital poetry magazine in Turkey, which is only published in on a PDF and digital magazine. So screen, yeah. Is everything okay?
Sure. I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I have. The first one is a Christmas card from sea. Do you see me? Do you really want to see me? I'm your friend. Sorry. I'm your friend, mate, brother, sister. I am the one who is cleaning your streets, working on your banks, repairing your stuff, remodeling your house, changing your faucets, cutting your hairs, driving your cabs. I am the one who is working behind big walls. I'm here, your neighbor. We do not want your jobs. We do not work at which you do not want to work. We do not want your homes. We do not want your air and water. We do not want your cars. We only want to live. We only want to live. We only want to live in peace. We didn't choose our colors. We didn't choose our religion. We didn't choose our language. We didn't choose our culture. We didn't choose our loneliness. What your assumption is not what we are. Do you think it is easy to be far away from your home or country? Do you really think it is easy to be outside of your culture? Do you really know anything about me? I'm trying to learn your language. Did you ever try to learn only one word of my language? Only one word. For example, to say merhaba. Did you ever try to learn about my culture? Did you ever try to celebrate my holidays? Yes, you love our authentic flavors, but did you even try to learn who really is at the kitchen? We are both together good. We are both richness of the world. With you, buddy, bro, dude, not without me. We are your pals, your allies, your friends. We are your reflections. Let us make the world greater and let us make the world beautiful again. This is a Christmas card from C, from a refugee. I am you, you are me, we are all must to be. And the second one, Yeah, this one. It's a pathology, withdrawal syndrome. You do not exist. Touch the stone. Let the world feel your lungs. Look at the water. Let the sun touch your hair. At best, you will be a disappearance in the galaxy. No matter how much you write, no matter how much you talk, no matter how much you read, you are the way the tree takes from the slope. Don't raise yourself so proud, so far, so you. If there is a part of you, that's the most you are all crap. You do not exist. To understand how much of a life, for whom and what, even if you try all of them, from a stone, a tree, a water, you are no more. Maybe you are in the realm most that can't even show its direction. Why are you looking at me with your neck straight? Neither your voice is good, your color, your smell, nor you can fly. Then how are you walking on the edge like a great invention? Just shut up and listen. Get the ground right in front of you. You are standing on the soil. Flowers you crushed, trees you cut, birds you died. You are not even as much. Walk into yourself. Walk into yourself. Walk into yourself. Do not dry the ink. Keep the ink in the water, but you can not share that you understood the universe, the planetary, and with 7 folds of the globe. And but you also think that you are the owner. You do not exist. Shut up and listen to the crack of the brush and the rustle of the water. Be silent. Be silent. Be silent. Look, you are transforming soil. Thank you all. Thank you, guys.
Ooh, thank you. Ooh,
Wonderful.
Wow, that was amazing.
ah,
Thank you so much.
wow. Thank you, Ender. Yes.
Thank you.
Well read too. A lot of feeling.
Yeah.
Did you write? Are you writing in English or are you translating into English?
The first one I wrote in English while I was in DC. I wrote this poem to your to our dearest old president. Let make the America great again against that. So from a letter, a Christmas card from a refugee. And the second one I wrote in Turkish and translated in English.
Hmm. Very good. Yeah. So leave some information so we can follow you, please. Yeah.
Actually, I do not have any social media thing. I only have the email address. I don't like Facebook or Twitter and
Sure. Or
Instagram.
if you want to, or where we might find some of your books or whatever. Sure.
Okay, I
Okay.
can. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll write
Well,
on the
thank
chat
you.
box.
Well, our last reading for tonight is someone I've not known, was recommended to me, and I'm sure will surprise us well. Peter Manos, hi and welcome. Where are you living, Peter?
I'm in Atlanta,
Indeed.
from New York originally, and great to be with you all.
Sure.
And Ender, I think it's a wonderful example of the unity that I'm a Greek American following a Turkish poet, and we're all united despite the dysfunctional relationships of our ancestors.
Thank you.
Is this font big enough?
If you could make it a little larger comfortably, otherwise,
Oh, I
'cause,
see where. Okay. So this first poem is, oh boy, a little too large. Is that good?
a little too much for me.
Okay. So this
Okay,
first
got it.
poem is a language poem. It was published in Gyroscope Review. Edifice. From humble excellence or unpretentious excellence comes adolescent excellence, some uncontested excellence plus compartmental excellence, intercontinental excellence, transcendental excellence, condescended excellence, unrepentant excellence, pretentious excellence, obsessive excellence, restless excellence, wearable excellence, reckless excellence, or death, or parkour, or obsolete paragons of humble excellence that arrogant parables couldn't surpass after good enough wasn't good enough and better wasn't better. Next poem is a lipogram in the letter I, so it uses no vowel letters except for the letter I. So I'm omitting A, E, O, U, and Y. And it was published in Abstract Magazine TV's.com's website. So they always have a nice little piece of artwork they include.
I lost the size of it. It kind of shrunk down.
This
If
one?
you can see the same as me.
Let me do Control Plus.
Same here, zoomed way out for me.
Yeah, kind of zoom down in size.
Yeah, it's like microscopic for me.
Yeah.
Let me wait a couple seconds here, make sure.
Sure.
Microscopic?
Yeah, find your, that's a
I
great
see.
poem.
Wait,
If you could find
it's
your
like
next
a
poem and you
new
can maybe blow it up a little bit for us, thanks.
Okay, I'm with you now. So this is called Kinship with Instincts, and it's a lipogram in the letter I.
Got it.
Citing vivid insights tiring. I'm idling, childish, in hiding, minding swirling birds girding virgin birch, flirting in whirlwind skirmishings, chirping birthrights within this singing, fixed in strict limits. Within this singing, fixed in strict limits, is it diminishing intrinsic bliss if its limits imprint kinship with it? I am like really ambivalent about my poetry, and I think I'm gonna switch over to one that's kind of about that ambivalence. So this is a letter to my muse. Your muse.
Yeah, we don't have it yet.
Okay. Do I do a new share?
Yes, you could, sure. That's easy. If that's the easiest way to do it, then do that. Yeah.
Sorry for learning the ropes here.
That's okay. Come back to the group and then you'll be able to click on it easily. There, you got it.
Letter to my muse. Dear muse, my wife thinks you are my girlfriend, since you have been with me before we met, consciously, strangely familiar as a long-lost cousin who wasn't properly introduced. You drew me in by syllable pulls I misconstrued. Out of disconnectedness, where I inhabited acrobatic rabbit holes, hinging on images, in ignorance whether my revamped lines revitalize saints or vampires, or amass diamonds or rhinestones, dragging through anachronisms. Ecstatic at it, not mattering if or when another listener visits.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Is there a name for that form where you broke it down to just one vowel?
Yes, it is from the Greek. Lipo means missing and gram means letter. Lipogram means missing letter. Lipogram. Yes.
That's fascinating.
Well,
time-wise, can I do one more short one or we're done? Well, I'm got to be done. It's fine.
Yeah, I think.
Thanks so much, guys.
Well, we did have a lot of amazing poetry here today, as we always do. This is recorded, and I'm going to put it onto the channel on YouTube, Planet Poetry 28. So you can always catch up and see what's in the chat and all the rest of that. And I think when you look back on it and the amount of amazing poetry we saw, it does help for me to read because it keeps me engaged. After an hour or so, just listening to poetry becomes quite difficult. But as long as you can read along, gives you a second break, especially for those people in the tail end of it. We're all a little bit spent, but we can at least engage in it and give everything its fair shot. And we always switch around, from month to month. So whoever was last, I try to put first, and work all like that. And yes, this was an adventure. Thank you very much for all. And I'm just overwhelmed to be surrounded by so many different and diverse voices, performances, and poetry. It was a great afternoon, and I wish you
Thank you,
all the
Mark.
best holiday for those of you who were part of that part of the world, and for the rest. We'll see you next month. It's a Monday, and I'll probably do it at 5 o'clock, which would be 10, which would be or 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock would be reasonable for London, a little bit more reasonable, I hope, for Asia and the rest of the planet. It's hard to find one time zone that fits all, but we'll try to get something on together. We'll decide on the time, and I'll announce it in a week or two, and plenty of time for that. And what a wonderful community we have here, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all again, either here and at all the other events that we do. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Mark.
Yes,
Mark,
thank you very much,
very
Ashley
much.
Mark.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks,
Appreciate
Mark.
your
Bye-bye.
time and
Really
everything.
good.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
That was great to hear
Yeah,
all of you.
thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Mark, please think about Istanbul too.